Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this special day when we had the chance to speak with our guest. I had to take it. And because she is coming live from Paris, France, and on a different time zone than we are so thankful and grateful that she was able to join us. First, let's do a little housekeeping. We are the Historical Tea and Dance Society, and we started about 11 years ago. We run dance classes and balls and afternoon teas in Pasadena, California. So if you're ever this way, we hope you will join us. The things you need to know for joining us, whether you're on Zoom or Facebook Live, is to open your chat window or to be aware of your chat window. It's down there for most Zoom attendees. That's where you can ask questions. And Lindsay, say hello, Lindsay.
Hello there, everybody.
Lindsay is in the background monitoring them, and we're going to fit them in as we can. And then afterwards, we have the after talk or the after chat, and Cécile is joining us. Yay. So we will be able to get a little bit even more face-to-face and personal with her. So we hope you will join us for that. There is an additional factor happening today because there's so much beautiful footage, so many beautiful videos. So we are asking you today to open up another web page browser and join the Watch Together party. And I'm going to let Lindsay speak about that a little bit because she's the one that thought this would be the perfect way of solving the solution of video lag. There you go.
Well, here's hoping it's the perfect way. So we're trying this. This is the first time we've given it a go. We're using something called Watch Together. We posted the link in our Zoom chat. Thank you, Darlene. And then I've also posted it on Facebook as well. If you follow that link, and I'm seeing tons of people joining, so I think they have, you can hang out on this page, and I will be in charge of playing and pausing videos and choosing which videos we see. Those videos will all stream to your computer from a different server as opposed to from my computer, which hopefully will mean they play smoothly and you can appreciate the grace and the beauty of the dance in a way that you couldn't if we just did a screen share here in Zoom. I'll also go through the Facebook feed later and post links to those videos directly so that people who watch this, who aren't watching live, will be able to watch it. Hello. All right, did someone press play?
That's an interesting thing to know.
That is an interesting thing to know. So I'm going to go ahead and take the headline, so don't feel like you have to press play. I will take charge of that, and it's a learning experience, so please be patient with us as well. And yeah, I'll hand it back over to Darlene. It's going to be fun.
Very much looking forward to it. All right, so many things to say. Cécile Laye studied historical dance in England with Dolmetsch Historical Dance Society, Nonsuch History and Dance, and the English Folk Dance and Song Society. She's been doing this for a long time. Since the 80s, she has run her own dance company. The earlier form was Amaryllis, and since 1998, she has run CHESTNUT. She's an actress, a comedian, a stage director, a historical dancer that loves and teaches English country dance from the 15th century forward. She is renowned as a dance master, a ball caller. She was on the program for this year's New London Assembly at the Amherst Early Music Festival. So you can see it's such a wide scope, and we're just going to jump in, not with Cécile first, but with her little intro video of CHESTNUT. Such a wonderful video. If you haven't seen it, short video, please, let's test our first video.
All right, everyone, go ahead and flip back over to Watch Together, and I'm going to start that in just a second here. I have to do a couple things. Thanks again for your patience as we try out something new. All right, and I am playing now. Goodness.
That worked pretty well once we figured out what we were doing. So thank you, Lindsay. So without further hesitation, we are going to introduce Cécile Laye. Thank you for joining us live from Paris. Hello, Cécile.
Hello, hello. Thank you to Darlene and Lindsay and Historical Tea and Dance Society for organizing all that. You know, I'm amazed to be there.
Well, we're going to jump right into our 5 things with Cécile Laye. And we had some wonderful conversation building up to this. So the first thing that's important to Cécile is dance quality.
Yes.
You can tell that from the beautiful videos.
Yes, for me, dance quality is something that I wouldn't dream of teaching if I was not reaching dance quality. Obviously, the people who are doing demonstrators have been picked up because they're especially good. But with everybody, I try very hard to get them to dance well. For me, dancing is really dancing. It's not going from A to E to another point. Yes, you've got to know where you're going, but then you really have to build up a dancing dancing competence. It's just like going somewhere. It's just the bone. And then you've got to fill everything up with flesh and blood and muscles, so that it is very beautiful to watch. But my belief, and it is a very deep belief, is that when it is beautiful to watch, then it is nice to do. It is a good when you dance well. Really inside you have a very good feeling of belonging to a nice set. And I believe in that.
And you can certainly tell it through those beautiful videos that you've done and the work that you've been doing. It's really lovely, and we're also thrilled to be able to watch these videos here on Facebook and on YouTube. So we're going to be showing a few clips from some of these videos because they're so lovely and they're so indicative of what you do. And the first one we're going to show is something that we're all waiting to try at home one day. Go ahead, Lindsay.
All right, stand by. All right, everyone go ahead and flip back over to watch together if you haven't already. And don't press anything, just hang out there. I'll start playing the next video. Here we are. Oh, goodness. All right.
Beautiful videos. We're so thrilled to be able to have them. Thank you again for creating them, because around the world we are enjoying them. We're still working out some kinks. That's okay. Hang in there. As we go along, it'll get better.
Yes, and if I may interject, anyone who has the thing open, please do not touch. Please do not press play or pause or anything. I'm taking care of that. And if you press play, apparently it plays for everyone else. So please stop. Whomever you are, please stop pressing that button. Thank you.
All right, it's a learning experience. Well, let's move along to the second thing number 2, and musicality. It's
all right.
It's a learning experience, and we will. I'm going to pause for a minute.
Dance quality is very important.
Oh, wait. Excuse me a minute.
Sorry.
Excuse me. We're trying. I think perhaps we should. Can we close down that website temporarily and then restart it? All right, great.
All right, everyone go ahead and exit out of that. I'm sorry, someone is continuing to press the button or something, I don't know, but sorry about that. We will find out how to make this work, but everyone go ahead and exit, just close out of it. Darlene, Cecile, go ahead and close it.
Yes, we're out. We're out. It's a learning experience.
Yes, it is.
Good things to know. When you're testing things, let me take a moment. When you're testing things, you have 2 people that you're testing with, and you don't always get to know what elements are going to come up when you have several people. So we're just going to move on. And the musicality is thing number 2, the connection of music and dance together. It's so obvious in your video. So
when I choose a dance, very often it's because the music is nice. For me, a good dance is a good figures, but also good music and well played if possible. And you're very lucky in the States because you've got very good group, person of quality, band necessities, and others. And I feel that the dancers must be as good as the music, really. And the dancers must really embody the music. So it means that, and this means a particular training. Sometimes I feel that people sometimes don't understand the music. They cannot make any difference between the A music, the B music. They don't understand the measure sometimes, or the pulse. And you've got to educate the people to all that, so that after a while they really dance to music. Sometimes when I watch videos on the net, and this always amazes me that people don't feel the music and don't respond to the music. It is a great satisfaction to really take music into account. It is a basic strength and ingredient of a dancer. It is very important. Like body training, music is very important, and good music is very important. If you've got good music, you've got to dance well to it, really, and to give credit to the musicians.
That's a great point. And we do have some wonderful musicians out there, and we're so thankful for them. Do you feel that people who don't have that feeling can learn it? Is there a way of teaching that to somebody? Because in past sessions, we've had people ask about that. So I know that question is going on. How do you teach that connection with music to somebody who isn't quite on?
Well, I find that sometimes it is difficult, but it is part of the teaching. I mean, uh, people come to me for different reasons, and I start from scratch. I take it for granted that they don't know anything, and I check on everything, and I try to make it as lively and funny as I can. But I will test how they respond on different music in 2 times, in 3 times, different speed as well, and I will test whether they can uh, know where is the A music and the B music, and step by step I will educate them on that. All these exercises, they don't take much time. I will not be doing that a full hour and a half, but I will touch on that very lightly and briefly, so that they don't get bored, that they are educated in that, because it shouldn't be taken for granted that people know that. And when they reach English country dancing, maybe they have no musical background at all, and they have not musical ear. Sometimes they have, but not always. And also, sometimes people, in English country dance, especially in Playford, sometimes the A and the B music are very close. Only a few measures make the difference, and so it is natural that sometimes people don't hear that. It is a musical bath, a musical pool, and that you've got to be introduced in that very slowly. And it is my job as a teacher, because I think that teaching is not calling. It is my job. It is my duty to really do that, um, um, and to really demand uh, dance quality, because I feel this is what really people want. Sometimes they don't know it. Obviously, English confidence is fun, is nice to make friends, and it tells for itself. So I don't have to really put any stress on that. But I feel that people very often, they want to really go beyond themselves. They want to do something nice. They want to be part of something nice, beautiful, and I've got to help them to walk along that line, really. Sometimes they don't. It, um, Sometimes they don't know it to start with, so I've got to really be firm on that line, because. But it is very rewarding in the end to look for quality and musicality.
That makes a lot of sense. And I remember when I started learning, I knew of several dance teachers that were teaching in that fashion, and now they seem further apart, but I know they're still out there, and it's wonderful, because this is something that is not readily available all over the place necessarily. So, and that's why I believe you were going to New London Assembly to teach some of these skills. It's
Yes,
hopefully
yes,
next year.
yes. I was supposed to teach John Playford dances, because I've done research on that for the National Dance Center, the Centre National de la Danse. And I worked on the first edition, and I classified the dances, the 105 dances. And I was supposed also to do another workshop on uh, preparing people for demonstration. I was supposed to do that. These two things. Um, that
Well, hopefully next year, and I'm hoping I'll be
maybe.
there. Lindsay, do we have a question from either our Zoom sign-in attendee sheet or someone out in the audience?
I do see someone out in the audience with her hand up. Let's see, except her name is now obscured. There we go. Karen. Oh, Karen's hand just went down.
Oh.
Okay, if anyone in the audience would like to ask a question, please feel free to put your hand up. In the meantime, I do have a couple questions that were sent in online. Let's see. Do you have, let's see, how often does your performance team rehearse?
Yes, I've seen this question. It's a good question. They rehearse. Well, they're supposed to do a lot. I mean, at CHESTNUT, we've got a very healthy and wholesome program. We've got weekly workshops. We've got day course. We've got a monthly gathering in several levels to prepare the period board, and they're supposed to do as much as they can, and whenever we meet monthly, we have a special rehearsal of say 2 or 3 hours. And if we're working for a demonstration, they will have other meetings. And also, I choose people who are very responsible and who can work by themselves. Whenever we work, we take videos, and I go through the dance. I go into details, and we take that on videos, and then they're supposed to really work by themselves on these things that have been recorded, because whenever we meet again, what I expect is that I won't have to go back on that. And if we are working on steps, for instance, in Regency dancing, we use a lot of very intricate steps. It's really ballet steps, really. And they've got to rehearse that so that they can progress, because if they only do it once a month, they will never get anywhere. So I trust them to work by themselves, and they do. And if they don't, they won't be able to stay, because I cannot have them training every day, which would be nice, but they are people who work elsewhere. So they have to be to prove me that they are very committed on that work, and that they will memorize the dance and work on the steps and all the little nuances that we've been preparing all together. But they do actually. They're very good, and they are very devoted to the work. And this is why I can do all these videos, because I'm really lucky to work with very good dancers and very highly committed dancers.
Their question was asked is if you teach at different levels, do you allow beginners to come in, or must they be experienced already in some fashion?
No, really what I do is, for instance, take the weekly class. I've got beginners every week, and every other week I teach the intermediate, and I teach the advanced. And with the advanced, I will, for half an hour, do step work, either in Baroque or in Regency steps. They know they will going to do that. And if they don't want to do steps, they don't come, they don't turn up, you know.
Right.
And I really had to insist on that, because to start with, when I started doing minutes, sometimes they would stop on the side, and they will wait until I had finished. So I had to say, well, this cannot be so. You know, you either come to the class or you don't, but it cannot be in between. And when people start in the beginners class, well, I take them, even if they have never danced, uh, I admit them, you know. And what I do is I allow the intermediate dancers and advanced dancers to take the beginners class. They know that I'm going to do easy stuff. They know that I'm going to do lots of exercises. If I teach figure of eight, I will, I will really work on that so that people can do figure of eight from every place,
Wow.
you know, and all the family figure of eight. So they are prepared for that. They are also prepared to help along, not to dance between themselves, but to be a dancing coach to the beginners. And sometimes you get beginners who are not really beginners because they have been doing um, uh, lots of dancing anyway. So they can understand very quickly what it is all about. But sometimes they have never danced. They are not specially uh, gifted to start with, but they like it very much. And so I ask the advanced dancers to be patient. And if they don't want to be patient, they don't turn up. They just come to their class. But what I find is that they're very pleased to come along and to help along. And they are also very pleased to do easy stuff, because when it comes to their class, it can become tricky, you know.
Yes. That sounds wonderful. Well, you led automatically right into the third thing, which was body training. And
Yes.
we had a great video to show. Are we going to try this one more time with a separate link?
Yes, we're gonna give it a go. We'll see what happens. Let me post that right now. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, untested, untried waters here. We are going to try a different web page. I will give you folks a few minutes to get on there. Not a few minutes, a few moments
And
to get on there.
Lindsay, would you tell us again about the mechanics and why we're doing it this way and not the other way?
Well, I am not a computer major by any stretch of the imagination, but the ability to send video through the internet is a complex process, and websites like YouTube make that smoother by allowing your computer to talk to a server computer and to download the video in advance, buffer it so that your system can play it smoothly. When you're playing through a video streaming service like Zoom, if I were just to share the screen, Zoom doesn't have the capability to send you that data in an efficient enough manner that your computer can process it and watch it smoothly. And because these dances are so beautiful and the steps and the motion and the music are so important, we want to try to watch those at the best quality possible. So I just posted that link. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to follow that link over to a website called SyncTube. I'm now going to try playing, and if it doesn't play, I don't know, scream in the comments or something so I can see. All right, here we go. All right,
Oh,
I'm
well,
hearing
we tried it one more time.
Yep. All right. Well, it was worth a shot. Okay, so I can just send you the YouTube video link then.
Sorry?
Darlene, would you like folks to visit YouTube and just see it there?
Let's see. How about a show of hands? Who wants to move on without the videos, or who wants to see the videos? It takes a little extra time, but I think just direct YouTube link might work, but we'll all be starting it at different times.
Mhm.
Why don't we just post the links so that people can grab them later and watch them? Yes,
That sounds
we're
like a
going
great
to
idea.
move on. We're
All
going,
right.
it works for some people, it doesn't work for others. It's a learning experience, but when you do watch these videos, you're going to understand why they were so important to us. So and you'll be able to visit the CHESTNUT YouTube channel where there are so many beautiful videos. So it'll be a big thrill. Make sure you have extra time because you won't want to stop with just one or two. Truly, you will not want to stop. So, okay, well, moving on. We had thing 1 was dance quality, thing 2 was musicality, thing 3 was body training, and there is a great short video of Cécile doing a footwork demonstration for people who were attending her ball to study and practice before the ball, I believe. Is that right, Cécile? The Staines Morris footwork?
Oh yes, well, Staines Morris is a very a curious John Playford dance, which is not easy to do it straightforward, straight from the text, because only the first man dance really with all the women. So I made it into a mixed dance, and as it is, it can be it could be a measure. A measure is like a pavan, but it is not as regular as a pavan. And I put um, um, steps into it, steps that could be used in a pavan or in an allemande or also in a galliard. And this was meant to be one of the dances of the period ball of this year, and it has been cancelled, obviously, because of COVID-19. But it was supposed to be the everybody dance. I mean, it is uh, well, people can dance with simple steps, doubles and simples, but they could add steps if they can do it and if they want to do it. They don't have to, because in our period ball, sometimes people who have not really prepared the ball come along, but they can dance the very easy stuff. And in that particular dance, they could have danced it without the steps. But it's nice sometimes to do steps, and it draws attention to really what your feet are doing. It is a pity that sometimes in English country dance, no care is given to what actually your feet are doing. And I am an historical dance teacher, so I also teach 15th century stuff, 16th century stuffs in France and Italy. And of course, this is why I pay a lot of attention to what Playford is saying about doubles and simples, because for a 17th century person, doubles and simples means something very specific that had been known with lots of variants for 2 centuries. And Sharp didn't really bring that in his teaching, but although he did a lot of good to, I mean, we owe him much, but on that point, I cannot agree with him that everything must be done with the right foot and not taking steps into not noticing steps.
Well, you have certainly sparked a lot of questions with that. You know, I'm such a fan of listening to you talk about this. I love this concept. And I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay before I just babble about how much I love what you're doing.
We do have some excellent questions. We've got a question from Rebecca King. So I'm going to bring her on board as a panelist. Rebecca, if you don't want to turn on the video, that is perfectly fine. but I'm going to promote you to panelist right now. Stand by.
Hello.
Hello, Rebecca. Did you want to ask your question?
I've seen that.
Okay.
Do I answer that?
All right. So
Oh, her
Rebecca's,
mic isn't on. Oh, that's weird.
it is.
It
All
is?
right.
Oh,
Excellent.
sorry.
Oh no. Okay. Well.
Why don't we
All
just
right.
ask it for her?
Yes, absolutely. So Rebecca's question, sorry, Rebecca. Her question was, how do you decide on which footwork to use?
Yes, I've seen that written. Yes, Rebecca, I tend to, yes, I stick to easy dance. Yes, easy dances. And also what I do is well, for the beginners class, for instance, I choose the themes I'm going to work on during the year. For instance, this year I was going to work on inverting, making the set upside down, and double figures and things like that. And then I will pick up a number of dances where you can find this particular figure, but of course in these dances there are lots of things. And if I want people to concentrate on something, I've got to make up exercises, and I try to make them as funny and enjoyable as can be, and finding different musics, nice musics, and different tempi and measures sometimes. And I will work, for instance, if I'm working on the figure of eight family, I will work in half figure of eight, cross and half figure of eight, double figure of eight, step by step, going back to, moving on, going back, moving on, going back, so that after a while they've got, they build up reflexes about all these dances. And when I call in a ball figure of eight, they know how to do it. And from that, I could move on. From figure of eight, I could move to chain and reel. Well, obviously, everybody does that, but I take my time. This is what my point is. For me, I will reach the dance, but I take my time over exercises quite a lot, because for me it's not only a case of going the figure of eight right, if this is what I'm teaching, but dancing a figure of eight. I mean, so that the body looks good, and so that the two partners doing the figure of eight at the same time really wait for each other, start at the same time, anticipate if needs be, and reach they place at the suitable time. And of course, this needs to be trained, because at the beginning, it's not. People find it sometimes very easily, but not always. So it has to be trained. And I've seen that Graham asked me about
We're gonna bring Graham up live.
Yes. How do I do what I do with people who resist, people's resistance?
Supposedly I'm going to be on video.
You're on, Graham.
Am I?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, well, you're not on video. Let's see if we can change
That's
that.
all right. I'm not maybe looking my very best.
That's totally
Never mind,
fine.
Graham.
Hi, Cécile. I will just say that I'm sorry that you and I are not colleagues together this summer, which we would have been at New London. So
Yes.
I'm happy to meet you
Yes.
virtually. And I talked about you before I met you. So I'm very happy that you'll be joining us next year, I hope. So my question was about, I think a lot of particularly English country dance teachers, and I've taught historical dance as well as English country, but in the English country dance context, often I will perceive or just get the message that dancers simply, they don't want to think about footwork, and that what you'll get is either by words or by other indications that dancers say, I just want to have fun, or it's just social. And that I've tried to convey to dancers to say, but it's beautiful if you do it this way. But I'm wondering what your strategy is. If you for your demonstration group, your performance group, you can say, those are the rules, right? And you have your standards. You can say, you have to do it this way. You're the boss. But in a social context, how do you respond?
I see your point. Yes, for me it's different because I am in France. I'm French, and well, people turn up to my class. If they don't, it's like you. If they don't want, if they don't like the way I go about things, they don't come back. Well, they usually do actually, because they might surely they find it something that they want. But of course, the situation in your country is very different, because you have a very you have all a background that comes from far away. People sometimes they've been brought up with these dances, and which is not the case with French people. Sometimes they come to me because they like historical dances, they like historical music. Sometimes they've seen a Jane Austen's film, and they've seen the beautiful long ways with Colin Firth, and they wonder whether Colin Firth is there.
And all the dance is wrong.
They will turn up, And by the way, these dances in the BBC films, they're very good dancing. So it helps us quite a lot, because people see good dancing, and after that they want to do it, and they come to my class. But to answer your question, I will say that I teach every year. In fact, not this year. In a big French festival which is called the Bal de l'Europe, and in this festival you can find any kind of dances that are danced in Europe, so not only French dances. And I teach my staff, but other people teach English dancing as well. And I can say that some people come to my class. It is a big class, because sometimes 100 people turn up, because I do what I do, and they come to dance with me. They will never dance with the two other people who are there. And some people will never come to my class because they just want to enjoy themselves and to be in the readiness of the dance. Well, for me, this is not because you try to dance well doesn't mean that you're not going to enjoy it and have fun. I mean, you don't have to choose between the two. You can working doesn't mean you are not having a good time, and that doesn't mean that it's not social and that you're not making friends. All the contrary, because you are aiming, you really go towards a goal all together. This is what I find. But I see what you mean, and that was what was worrying me. I was to come at Amherst. I was asking to myself, will they stand my particular way of teaching? Because I've seen Andrew Shaw teaching at Amherst, especially, and I could see that it took his time, even more so than he does in England, actually. Maybe American people can stand even more than English people can do. So I say, oh, well, this is a relief because they might stand my way of teaching. But I am very, I don't move on until I am satisfied with what I see. But the limit of that is that I try not to get people bored. I don't want to bore them. And I know that some of my French colleagues doing Baroque dance or Italian Renaissance, they would do a half an hour's warm up, which makes sense actually because it's very good for the body. I don't do that. I don't do that, but I will do sort of 7 to 7 minutes of warm up. I think this is my job. This is my duty too. Because if I don't draw attention to how you deport yourself, how you just erect your spine, um, um, well, they will never pay attention to that. And if I don't prepare, if I'm going to do jumping, round step, double step, um, if I don't prepare their ankles and knees, they might have an accident. So I've got to take that into account. And if I'm going to do regency stuff, I've got to prepare their arms as well. And anyway, arms in English country dances are very important, really. I mean, I paid a lot of attention to arms movement. So I think this is very important. But I try to see to just to sense how long I can go, how much I can go. But really have to be to hold on to that because French people, like your American people, English people, they would very easily jump to the dances. But I know this must not be so.
That's a wonderful response, and I am going to push us forward so we cover the 5 things because we are starting to close in towards the end. Thank you, Graham, for coming on and
Thank you.
asking. We'll see you in the after talk. I think this is going to bring more conversation. Thing number 4, and you can easily tell this from listening to Cécile throughout this hour, is the passion. The road and everything that brought you to this, the road to having your own dance company, combining dance and history and research, and I can tell your theater background is there because you really put on this beautiful show of dance. I'm going to have you talk about that 4th thing, the passion.
Well, yes. How can you talk about passion? I love teaching. I love sharing. I love if I choose a very difficult dance, I know it's going to be difficult, and I like finding ways to make it easy so that people don't even realize that they are really dancing a difficult dance because it has been broken into little pieces until they actually do it and enjoy it, and until they are proud to dance and to dance it well. So this is my passion. I like getting things across, and I like people to succeed. This is very important to me. What I remember what I wanted to say to Graham, but it is relevant to that point as well. Everybody admits that musicians rehearse, practice their instrument. Singers warm up their voice. They will never dream of singing something important without doing a very thorough warm up. And pianists like Rebecca, they will work their hands. Why is it that dancers don't admit that they have to really work on their bodies? It is strange. It is really strange. And this point has to be taken across, that it is very important, and that they admit it to all the other crafts. Um, Going back on passion, I've had very good teachers, I must say. Well, it is true that I started in England with the Historical Dance Society, with Peggy Dixon, and then I was lucky to meet. She was I was very young at the time. She was quite old, but she was called Ethel Anderson, and she's been taught by the people of the after, I think, just after Sharp. She was very particular about the dance quality. And then I studied with Tom Cook. He was so very precise, and Marjorie Fennessy. And of course, in France, I studied with lots of people like Francine Lancelot, and Francine Lancelot, Andrea Foncalonci. All these people were very passionate, very passionate. I felt that they handed over the passion to me, especially the non-such history and dance people, the Peggy Dixon and Jack Edwards, because they had a way of going about things, bringing in costumes and theatre and lectures, and giving. Jack was a comedian, so he would read text, and it went beyond the dance, but it really it was like a nice setting for the dance. It was all more it was all the better for the dance. It made sense for the dance. This is what I try to do, actually.
Well, that leads right into the fifth thing, and I'm glad we were able to get to it, because there's obviously so much to share with you. So I hope you'll all join us for the after chat, because I think that's going to be quite wonderful too. The fifth thing is telling stories that relate it to people, to the audience. You're obviously, like we've talked about, the theater background, the showman. It's a wonderful thing, and all this training that you've had has led to that. So let's talk about making it tell a story.
Well, what I find is that if you're demonstrating a dance to an audience who doesn't know what it is all about, that, for instance, they're tumbling in a castle and you happen to be there, you're going to dance, they will stand two dances. After two dances, they feel, and I can understand that it is all the same, which is not the case for us. It is not all the same. It has been hard work to go through these dances, but for them, it is all alike. So when I do demonstration, I do two dances at a row, and then I quit that. But if I'm doing, if I do more dances, then I find very early on that I have to structure the show so that the attention of the public is kept. So very early on, I worked with a singer and musicians, and we would have so many dances, and then we will switch to the singer, and people are refreshed by the singing, and then only pure musical the musicians will play, and so that was very good for the audience. But after that, I took the opportunity to stage a real show using the summer menu of that. It is exactly the same time at Playford, and it's a man who writes about his everyday life. He goes on the social scale, and we we witness all that, and he can really write on everything, of the death of his brother, of the political issue, everything, his health, what he buys, what he eats, the woman he goes to, you know. And I find that it was really a nice mixture to have the playful dances and then a reader. In fact, it's not a reader; it's a comedian who really speaks the text, and it is very efficient that way. And the feedback of the people who watched the show said that it was quite interesting, and that they managed to understand the period, because otherwise these dances are very remote. People who are interested in dance history, they know what it is all about, and they can make the link between what happens before, what will happen after. But the usual audience, they don't know anything about it. So it's nice to watch a show with costumes and good music and funny text or moving text.
And connect it all together. I love that. So we are running very short on time now. I will ask you the question we must ask all our guests that we have on, and that is, what is your favorite dance? With all this world of dances.
It's very difficult, of course. I like very much the John Playford dance, because I like the ballet-like form. I mean, I like when everybody is building a shape, not doing the same thing at the same time. And John Playford is very good for that. Obviously, they are very good modern dancers, but the one I like very much in Playford, among many, is None Such. It is not a difficult dance, and the tune is just 8 measures plus 8 measures, slightly different, and the tune is just hypnotic, haunting. And when you have good musicians playing this tune and the dancers dancing it, it is a dreamlike. It has this dance, a dreamlike quality, which I like very much. It is neither too fast, not too slow. And when I dance this dance, I just have visions of, for instance, Hampton Court, or the corridors, and Catherine Howard running mad in the corridors. You know, all these things happen to me, and I like that very much. And it happens with many of the Playford dances, John Playford dances, because afterwards it's a bit different. I like them too, but Not Such might be my favorite.
That's wonderful. Well, before we go, we are going to run just a couple of minutes over before we end and get into the after chat, because I want to talk about, you know, we always say, what can you do to support these wonderful artists that we have on our show? And Cécile has a wonderful website. They do have a boutique, a shop there, where you can order dance booklets and CDs. And I would love to just play a snippet of, because I heard this and I fell in love. It's so, I hate to say adorable, but it's charming. The Cuckoo. Can we have just a small snippet of some of this beautiful music that you can buy, and you can also buy accompanying dance booklets?
Coming right up. Whoops. Well, that's good too. That's not what I was looking for, though. All right, let's hear Chestnut. If I can find the right button.
Yes, no?
Yep, here it comes.
Okay, good.
The Cuckoo.
So that was just a snippet of one of the pieces of music. Oh, I'm so tempted to play. There's some other great ones, but you know what? Let's go into the after chat and maybe there'll be a moment to play one or two of these clips. They are not yet available for download, but they will be soon. So if you do not wish to order the actual CD and the actual booklets, packages, that sort of thing, please check back at our website because they will be up. Cécile, you told me, how are you going to have the MP3s available? Cécile?
Well, we're going to put it through Bandcamp. It has to be done. We've got, obviously, we have physical CDs. We've recorded 5 of them, but 2 of them are sold out. So we're not going to make them again. But we want to bring an offer on downloading them. It has to be done. It will be done when my husband comes back. He has to put to sort that out on Bandcamp so that it will be easier for American people, for instance, or foreign peoples. It will be easier to do that, and we want to do it. So just watch out. It will be done.
And we will announce it when it comes up. In the
yes,
meantime,
that would help.
We will.
That would help. Thank you.
Later today, we will have a link to the actual direct link to the shop on our website. But for now, we're going to say thank you so much to Cécile, and we'll see you and everyone else in the after chat. I did send a link. It does not start until this one ends. It's the nature of Zoom. So, and if you're on Facebook Live, I posted in our Historical Tea and Dance Friends the link for that Zoom meeting. So wait just a couple of minutes. We're going to put up the splash screen with the web address for the boutique, but also we will post on our website. Cécile, do you want to say goodbye to everybody? And we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Yes, I say goodbye to everybody. It has been a pleasure, an honor to be with you. I know some people are leaving because I can see that people have said goodbye. So thank you very much for being there early on after breakfast. And it has been a pleasure to me. And I will be with you for those who stay on.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of wonderful comments. Thank you all. Lindsay's going to put up the splash screen. We're going to give it a minute, and then we're going to open up the other Zoom meeting so you have time to get a drink of water, a cup of tea, or whatever you need to do, and then come back and join us.
Bye-bye.
Oh, buddy. Buddy. Meow.